How's it going, everybody? My name is JustJarrod, but you guys can just call me Jared, and welcome back to another No Man's Sky video. Now in this one, we're going to be talking about the comments you left on my last video where I talked about what you would like to see in future No Man's Sky updates. Now I'm going to be reading through some of the comments, responding to them, talking about the ones that are really interesting, really cool. Now they're all good, all the comments are good, but there's so many, there's no way I could fit me replying to every single one in this video, or it'd be like an hour long. So we're just going to run through a few of them and talk about them, and I'll give you my opinion on some of the comments and some of the ideas you guys have, and then you guys, I don't know, respond in the comments again and we'll have a discussion. But as far as we know, we think an update is coming this month. Nothing has been announced yet, and today is the 5th as of this recording, so we're still kind of waiting. Hopefully we get an announcement from Hello Games soon. So, first comment, and a lot of people actually commented this, thunder and lightning would be awesome. Now, I do believe there is lightning. I'm not sure I've seen thunder. Lightning is like just flashes of light. I do believe they're on heavy rainstorm planets, which you don't find that often, but I don't think there's thunder, but I would love to see like lightning strikes and actually hear the thunder. A lot of the times the music in the game is like overpowering, so you don't, if there is thunder, you might just not be able to hear it very well. Thunder and lightning would be insane. And also, somebody else commented this, I'll find it in a second, it kind of relates, being able to see that there's rain on a planet while you're flying in your ship. So right now, if it's raining and you get in your ship and you take off, you can still hear the rain on your ship, but you can't actually see the rain as you're flying, which was a thing in the trailers before No Man's Sky came out. You were able to actually see the rain while you were flying your ship. I would love to have that. Rain is like one of my favorite things. I love the rain in real life. I love the rain in No Man's Sky. I built a lot of my bases on planets that are raining, so I just like the rain. I like that whole scenario. So thunder and lightning and being able to see the rain as you fly, great ideas. Hopefully they can work those in sometime eventually. A humble request, give us the ringed planets. Yes, ringed planets. They've been talked about for ages. No Man's Sky, Hello Games, Sean Murray said there would be ringed planets before No Man's Sky came out. I mean, he said there would be a lot of things, but I don't know if they're going to be in the game. I would love to have ringed planets for variation. Obviously, variation is a huge thing for me. New creatures, new planets, new biomes, new something as far as variation goes. So I would love to see ringed planets, what they would do with them, since ringed planets are mostly like asteroids and like ice, I think, right? That creates like the ring. Not sure like if it would have any like point or it would just because it would look cool. Either way, awesome idea. Hopefully they put ringed planets in eventually. A lot of this is going to be hopefully they do this eventually, but you know, we can't really go off of much because they don't tell us anything. Proper desert planets is one I saw a lot. I would love to see desert planets. We really don't have proper desert planets. Now in the trailers a long time ago, and you guys probably remember if you've been following No Man's Sky, we saw a desert planet, we saw a sandworm underneath the ground. Both those things is what I want. Sandworms, somebody commented that. Where are they? Dune worms. Huge creatures like that, have not seen. And proper desert planets. We've seen planets that say desert, but they don't really look like what you imagine a desert to be. So hopefully we get actual sand or something that looks like sand instead of just like a tan colored rock. I don't know. We'll see, but desert planets would be fantastic. There are some really close desert planets in the Galactic Hub, which I do want to go and actually see and make videos for you guys. Supposedly, they legit look like desert planets, but there isn't anything 100% desert-y, even though that's not a word, I'm going to use it. A lot of people commented this. They said they just want variety, right? A lot of the, or most of the updates, all the updates up to this point, have seemed like they're to bring players who gave up on the game back to the game, right? Land vehicles, base building, more features for people who left the game, and those features for them to come back and enjoy new things. I think they need to have an update, even though that's probably their prime goal is to bring more people back, because of, you know, the letdown of No Man's Sky for a lot of people, they want to bring those people back and kind of, you know, do that as an apology, I think. I don't really know. They don't tell us much, but that's kind of how I see it. I just kind of wish that they would have an update for the players who have been playing this whole time. And most of the people who've been playing this whole time want more variety because we've seen so much of the same because we've been playing for a year. Okay, it's been a while. So we've seen the biomes, we've seen all the biomes, we've seen all like the plant variety basically. We've seen almost 80% of the animals and creatures. There's always gonna be things out there that we haven't seen, but we've seen so much. So a lot of people want just an update for people who have been playing the game to add more variety, so people will still want to go out and explore, because right now we've seen almost everything. That kind of intertwines with them adding volcanoes, them adding waterfalls, them adding lava of some sort. There's no fire in the game. That's such a weird thing. You've got 18 quintillion planets, there's no lava and no fire. You've got solar planets, but nothing's burning. There's like a lot of weird things that you would think they would have. There's no ice on ice planets or frozen planets, there's just water. Whereas the ice, there's a lot of like natural things that you would think would be in the game that aren't. Earthquakes would be a great idea. I saw somebody post that. Hurricanes, larger storms. Why aren't they in the game? I'm not sure. I would love for them to be in the game. Anything that adds variety for adventuring around. I saw somebody ask, why would you put waterfalls in it? What are you going to do with a waterfall? Just sit and stare at it? Exactly. That is exactly what I would do with a waterfall. That's what I do with No Man's Sky as a whole right now. Walk around and look at things. That's my favorite thing to do about the game. That's why I was interested in it 3 years ago when they announced it as an exploration game. So I would love for them to add more into that aspect, the exploration, to add more variety. That's what a lot of people were commenting, so I'm glad you guys kind of agree with me on that point. Now some people are wanting submarines. Now we got the land vehicles, what about the underwater vehicles? At first I didn't think this would be smart, but now it makes tons of sense. And another thing that goes along with this, more underwater diversity or things to do underwater. It seems like a weird thing, but right now underwater or going underwater is more of a chore than anything, because when you're underwater you move like 1/4 of your speed. Unless you jump into the water from a height, then you get a boost from your jetpack, allowing you to like kind of drift underwater a lot faster. But there's nothing underwater to give you a reason to go underwater. There are large underwater creatures, but they always look like eels or like large fish. They don't always look huge. Like we saw giant sharks, or what could be considered sharks, in the old trailers before No Man's Sky came out, but we don't actually have those in the game, or at least nobody has found one yet. So there's no real point to go underwater. The only thing cool about going underwater in No Man's Sky is that the music changes and makes it look more spooky sometimes, but that's not even a thing that always happens, and it's not that important to a lot of people. I just love the music in No Man's Sky, so I noticed it, but there's nothing really to do underwater. It's just a chore to go through. So if they add submarines, it'll kind of make sense, because sometimes you're just stuck in a situation where you need to go through the water. Like a lot of times I'm exploring and I'll swim across the water to get somewhere, and then when I have to go back and I'm 20 minutes away from my ship and realize I have to swim 20 minutes there, that's gonna take forever, that's annoying. So I would love to have submarines to be able to cross gaps of water without having it to take 6 hours of my life to swim there slowly. It's not a huge complaint because you can always avoid things, but that'll be a cool thing. Submarines, another thing to customize or whatever, just like the land vehicles. So another thing to do. That being said, I don't really know what they would add underwater for it to be like important or feel like, I don't know, something is worth going to see underwater. We have buildings underwater, but they don't really make sense. We have ruins underwater, but the ruins are getting old because players who've been here have played and seen them all. I don't know what they would do, but they've been coming up with updates so far that I didn't expect, so hopefully they'll do something. Explorable freighter wrecks. Now this was something that we saw in a trailer. We saw a freighter that it was crashed into like a snowy planet, I do believe. I'm not going to put up the footage just because it'll take me ages to find it throughout all my throughout all my No Man's Sky footage that I have. But there is a freighter and it's kind of crashed into a planet, and there's like sentinels flying around, and it makes us think that we'd be able to explore the freighter when we actually never see that in the game. This was obviously before, I don't know, before the huge thing with No Man's Sky, where half the stuff that we saw in the trailers didn't end up in the game. Freighter wrecks would be cool to explore. There's a lot they could do with freighter wrecks. I just hope that it becomes a thing, because that would definitely make for cool variety as far as exploring planets. Walking around on planets hoping to find something huge like that. Before it was hoping to find a portal, and when you found one you realize it don't do anything. So now we're just kind of walking around looking at creatures and cool sights, or like the way the sun looks off this rock and stuff like that. It'd be cool to expect or to kind of hope for this huge thing, this huge monumental structure, like a city if they add cities, like a wrecked freighter if they add wrecked freighters, or I don't know, some kind of larger monument of the Sentinels, or some kind of larger ruin that's, you know, adds more mystery to the game. Things like that would be great to see on planets. Scott Baker said, I'd like to see a way to teleport to all previous systems I've visited, a way to see all the planets and their materials in each system I've visited, a way to fly my base to a new system, let me transfer my stuff to anywhere regardless of my location, and it would be nice to see a little more hand-holding, as so many things are unobvious. He says he's only played for 10 to 15 hours, but those are the glaring holes that he's noticed. Now, I would understand to see all that in like creative mode, because a lot of the things is they want you, No Man's Sky, Hello Games wants you to explore. That was what the game was based off of 100%, was people exploring and there being actual exploration in the game. And I think that's what the main point of their game was, until they started adding all this stuff to it. So I don't know if they'd have teleporting to all the previous systems, because I guess that could be considered exploring still to a point. I think they would just add that to creative mode more than the regular mode, because the regular mode does offer what kind of, the challenge it offers in normal mode is really slim, but there is still a slight challenge to it, especially for newer players. So putting all that in there, I don't know, it'd kind of make it like creative mode in a way, even though you can't do a lot of that in creative mode. It's like more of a free mode. But maybe in creative mode they would add that. I have started playing creative mode, so I would like to see some of that. But a lot of the times when I like explore, I see things and I move on, and take pictures and stuff like that to remember, and don't ever go back. But a lot of that I could see a lot of people actually wanting. Especially transferring your base to a new planet or new system. Honestly, don't know why that's not an option. Because a lot of the times people spend tons and tons of time creating their base and building it to look a certain way. It's kind of weird that that's not an option yet. Hopefully it will be, because I don't build a base, because that's the reason. If I were to build a base, I move planets too much, home planets too much, that I just got tired of rebuilding the base. So I haven't actually built a base since the new update. Also, I want them to, you know, disable the building limit, because right now there's a limit. You can't build over the certain limit, and once you do, you're done building. PC, there is no build limit. I wish that there wasn't one, so I could build what I want to build, because usually what would happen was I would start building, get this cool idea, get 3/4 of the way there, and then hit the build limit, and then it's just sitting there 3/4 completed, and I just end up not caring anymore. So that's usually what happens to me when I base build. I don't have a base right now. I have a little tiny circle because I don't feel like adding to it, because I can never complete my build without hitting the limit. But those are good ideas, so thank you. System-wide space battles. Now, I wouldn't mind system-wide space battles, but there has to be a purpose, because right now I still don't feel the need to engage in any fighting. Like, they added the new weapons for, you know, your ship, and the new weapon mods for your multi-tool with the new update. Honestly, I haven't got much into the new update. All I do is walk around and look at things, no matter what update they release. As far as like combat goes, or ship combat, a lot of what I do is take pictures and walk around, look at stuff, because it's an exploration game, and that's what I bought it for. And that's what I love to do. I've done that for a year straight. When it comes to space combat, when it comes to getting a new multi-tool, and they added the ship classes and the multi-tool classes. All of that's really great, but my multi-tool has all the upgrades in it already that I want, so I haven't decided to get a new one, right? Because then I got to go through and upgrade everything again, which takes ages. Same with the ship. I've got so much in my ship, I don't want to have to upgrade to a Type S class and then have to rebuild all the mods into it again. I don't see a super important way or a reason to actually fight in space with combat, besides it possibly being entertaining for a few seconds. Because right now, with my Class C ship, I just wreck people still. So, system-wide space battles would be cool, but there needs to be a more important reason to actually fight, or to, you know, engage in combat. More rewards, more purposeful rewards, rather than just units. Because as it sits right now, me, as well as a lot of people that I know who play the game, could care less, or couldn't care less, about units. Because yes, they get you a better ship, they get you a better multi-tool, they get you a better freighter, but all in the long run, what does that do for you? Allows you to explore more. That's it. So I don't know if there's a real reason for me right now, and for a lot of people, to fight or engage in fighting, unless they were to add a multiplayer. Then all that would make more sense. Who knows? But another thing with system-wide space battles, one thing, every time I see a space battle, I legit turn the other way and go away from it, because I could not stand not being able to, you know, fly fast at that warp speed or whatever to get to planets. I can't stand there being a system and me having to just slowly fly away from it because it won't let me hold R1 and L1 to get far away. If there are system-wide space battles, I would like it so you can, you know, still fly fast through them. Because if it was system-wide and if you didn't want to fight in a system-wide space battle, having to just manually fly somewhere would be annoying. Daniel Hipley, Warp Reactor Omega. Thank the Lord. Where is Omega Warp Reactor? I have no idea. Maybe they'll add it. Maybe they won't. I would definitely install it into my ship. I have a slot up and ready just in case I were to ever find a Warp Reactor Omega next to all my other warp reactors in my ship. Who knows? I don't know. It would just let you warp farther, I guess. Maybe they add some cool thing if you get it. I remember Omegas were like the hardest things to find. I mean, they still are, but not when you played the game for a year and you have them all. So Warp Reactor Omega. Maybe they add it. Maybe we finally get it. I don't know why we haven't got it. There's so much in this game that you just kind of question, like, why isn't that in the game? You would think. We've got base building, we got land vehicles. Why? Who knows?